I, 32M, always thought the foundation of a relationship was communication. I realize now the problem wasn't a lack of communication. It was that my girlfriend was constantly with a ghost. The ghost's name is Leo. My girlfriend, Clara, 30F, and I have been together for 18 months and live in my condo. On the surface, things were good. We got along, shared interests, all of that. But Leo, her ex, was a constant third person in our relationship. It wasn't overt. It was a stream of 1,000 tiny comparisons. This cafe is nice, but Leo and I found one with better scones. This movie's funny, but you know who would have loved it? Leo. I tried talking to her about it. At first, she was apologetic. Soon, she became defensive. The final verdict was always that the problem was mine. You're being insecure, she'd say. We were together 5 years. He's part of my story. It's normal. The breaking point was dinner with my parents 2 weeks ago. My dad was telling a story, and Clara cut in with, "That's hilarious." Leo used to tell a similar story. It was the third time his name came up in an hour. I felt a wave of public humiliation. Later that night, we had the same fight. It ended with her saying, "You're blowing this way out of proportion." I barely even mention him. Something in me just snapped into place. "You know what? You're probably right," I said, my voice unnaturally calm. She was relieved to have one, but I wasn't angry anymore. I was curious. She made a claim. I barely mention him. That's a testable hypothesis. So I decided to conduct a small experiment. For the next 7 days, I would record our conversations when we were home in the evenings. I'd just start a voice memo on my phone and leave it on the kitchen counter while we cooked or watched TV. I just needed to know, was I crazy or was I being haunted? Update 1. The week is over. The data is in. I'm not crazy. It took me the entire weekend. With headphones on, I listened to hours of audio. I tallied every mention, every time she said Leo, every story that began with my ex and I, every anecdote that was clearly about him. The final count was 847 in 7 evenings. That's over 100 references a night. I wasn't a partner. I was the live-in audience for the ongoing saga of her past relationship. The hurt was there, but it was buried under a cold, hard clarity. I stitched the audio clips together. No commentary, just a relentless 22-minute supercut of her obsession. On Sunday evening, I sat her down. "We need to talk," I said. "About what?" she asked, looking bored. "You said I was exaggerating how often you mentioned Leo." I took that to heart, and I tracked it. She laughed. A smug, condescending laugh. "You tracked it? That is so pathetic, Mark." "No," I said. "I made this." I pressed play. Leo always said. The thing about Leo reminds me of when Leo and I. Leo. For the first minute, she was just annoyed. Then, her face started to pale. By the 5-minute mark, she was staring at the phone like it was a bomb. The sheer, monotonous volume of it was undeniable. "Turn it off," she finally snapped. The argument immediately shifted. It wasn't about what she'd done, but what I'd done. "You recorded me. What is wrong with you? That's a massive violation of my privacy." And having another man's memory invoked every 5 minutes was a violation of my peace, I replied. "This experiment is over. And so are we." The anger collapsed into panic. "You're breaking up with me over this? I thought you loved me." "I can't be in a relationship with you and a ghost," I said, standing up. "It's clear you're still with him. I need you to pack your things and be out in 30 days. She immediately called her sister, Isabella. I heard the frantic, one-sided story through the bedroom door. "He recorded me. He's kicking me out. He's a controlling psycho." A minute later, a text from Isabella landed. "You are a manipulative piece of trash. You're supposed to help her heal, not punish her." Clara emerged, eyes hard with entitlement. "You can't just kick me out. I get my mail here. You'll have to legally evict me." "You're not on the mortgage, Clara," I said evenly. "You are a guest, and your stay is over." Final update. It's been a month of passive-aggressive warfare, but it's finally over. I'm writing this from my blessedly quiet, Leo-free condo. Clara used the full 30 days to make my life miserable. But then came the more calculated dirty tricks after she left. The furniture hustle. Clara had bought a bookshelf and an accent chair. When she moved out, while I was at work, she left them. A week later, I got a Venmo request for $800. The note, "For the furniture I bought for your place." I declined. She sent a furious text saying I had to pay or she'd take me to small claims court. I replied formally, "Clara, you have 7 days to arrange a time to pick up your abandoned property. I will have it in the building's foyer for you. You will not be re-entering the condo." The smear campaign and the welfare check. The story she told her mutual friends was that I was a jealous spy who threw her out on the street. It was effective with some. The worst part was when 2 police officers knocked on my door for a welfare check. An anonymous friend was concerned I was a danger to myself. It was a clear, calculated attempt to paint me as unstable. I explained the breakup to the officers, and they left, but the message was clear. She was willing to escalate. That was the line. Her narrative couldn't stand unchallenged. I invited 3 mutual friends over, including one, Jason, who had been the most critical of me. "I know what Clara told you." I started. "I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to give you the context you're missing." Jason scoffed. "Dude, you recorded her. That's a huge breach of trust." "You're right," I said. "Now let me show you why I did it." I played the 22-minute audio file through my speakers. I watched their faces go from smug judgment to discomfort, and finally to shocked silence. The audio wasn't just proof, it was an experience. It was the sound of what I'd been living with every single day. When it ended, I just said that was 1 week. They were speechless. They apologized. The narrative they'd been sold collapsed under the weight of the evidence. The fallout for Clara was immediate. Jason and the others were furious at being lied to and used as pawns. The story of the Leo reel quietly made its rounds. She was no longer the victim. She missed the 7-day deadline for the furniture. On day 8, I had it donated to a local charity and emailed her the receipt. "As you failed to collect your property, it has been disposed of. I wish you the best." Her block of furious texts was the last I heard from her directly. The last I heard through the grapevine is that she's living with Isabella, and their relationship is strained. Apparently, her sense of entitlement and constant complaining is hard to live with when you're not blinded by infatuation. Leo, the actual man, is engaged and has moved on. As for me, the silence in my condo is golden. I lost a few superficial friends, but strengthened my bond with real ones. The whole ordeal taught me that some people don't want a partner. They just want a new audience for their old stories. My space is finally my own again.